There we go. All right, now we're live. I think I was live like 2 minutes ago. Way too many windows open. Couldn't see which screen was live. But on the verge of madness. 9 o'clock Eastern. I know I did the draft selection show. Wished everyone luck. Felt like coming on a little bit just to talk impromptu because having a chance to digest what the selection order looks like and just kind of sleeping on it, so to speak, right? I can tell you this much. We have an action-packed, dynamic pool of talent that's going to go. In other words, we have probably 3 dozen, maybe 2 dozen players that can easily be the top 12. I think that's how deep we are. It's a really, really hard draft, maybe the hardest to prognosticate, forecast that I've seen. Again, I'm just trying to digest this. If you look at this top 10 all the way through 14 from the Fantasy Pros, I kind of came up with the notion that if you exclude the 4 running backs, right? You take Hall out, you take Robinson out, and then you go on and you take out Saquon, and you take out Henry from those top 14. We have 12 picks. That leaves you with 8 just outstanding dynamite wide receivers. League to Nutz is full of teams that have won titles because they had the right wide receivers. We saw it last year, right? I talked about this last week with the champion, Dingstown. He had the right stuff at the end. He was able to kick things into high gear with some great wide receivers. A la Lamb from Dallas, Ridley from the Jaguars last year. He's on the Titans now. Tremendous wide receivers. And then he got outstanding contributions in the championship games, game, singular, from this dude, Nico Collins, who he picked up off the waiver wire the second week of the season. So it's all about the wide receivers in League to Nutz. There's no doubt about that. So can I see those 8 wide receivers going 1 through 8? Absolutely. And then you kind of get your tertiary, second tier window guys. And I was trying to think of that. If you go 1 through 14 and that's accurate, right? What about guys like this? Or a guy like this. I took him last year, paid the price for it, but you know what happens. A guy like this in Waddle quacks his way to an all-time great season despite the presence of Tyreek Hill. Or maybe a guy like this. Mostert. How big was he for Keldar last year, leading his team to the semifinals in the championship loss against Dingstown? Lamar Jackson. So there's going to be a lot of value with guys like this in 12 through 24, maybe even 14 through 30. So my point being that the first round may not dictate the champion this time because it's so deep that you can go to the second round with an allotment of first rounders. I mean, again, look at this here, right? Now, I'll tell you this much. I am a Puka fan. We got Puka all the way there at 13. A.G. Brown. I mean, he's kicking it up in the second leg of the pack. So is the other Brown. Easily one of those 2 guys I can see going second or third. So that pushes back the line. So what's going to set this off, and I could be the one to do, I can be the one to need to screw this mic back on, but need to be the one to do this with my third pick, is just disrupt everything by taking a guy that's projected later and taking them early on, and then that causes the domino or snowball effect. So you take a look at this again, and you got Polkai, right? Champion before last year. And you figure McCaffrey would look good there. Stanford does Nutz. You figure a Tyreek Hill or a Chase. And then you got yours truly. And that opens up the wide receivers there. You got your big names, right? You got Browns, the one from the Eagles and the Lions, respectively, I just mentioned. You got your Justin Jefferson, who could be number one. I'd bet this, if he had maybe J.J. McCarthy, despite being a rookie, I'm going to talk about the rookies in a second, he'd be even higher. Where do they put him here, Justin Jefferson? They've got him at number 5. Justin Jefferson with Kirk Cousins is number 1 like he was last year, being forecasted. Then you got Lamb, solid number 2, and the beat goes on. There's just a blankety blank of talent. And it's going to be a very, very interesting draft. And it may not be predicated, again, on who goes number 1 all the way through number 12. Now, last year for me, as I said during the draft selection show, I blankety blanked the bed by taking Eckler, who's now an afterthought. Go figure. I took a running back on his last leg, so to speak. Had a tremendous year the year before, ran out of gas, had injuries, and it was a complete waste of a pick, and it torpedoed my whole friggin' season. Saquon's going to be an interesting pick, right? With the Eagles. This is a guy that Keldar loves year in and year out. They're forecasting Saquon to go at number 12. That's about right. Jonathan Taylor, a guy who was number 1 the year before last. He was the forecasted number 1. I believe Loopy's took him number 1. You see him there at number 11. Very quiet. Quietly came back, sat out those games, and proved to the Colts how important he is. He's a great football player, so he's deserving of a spot. I'm not, again, a big running back fan. You've got 2 Jets in there. Look at number 10 with Wilson. Breece Hall at number 6. So much rides on Aaron Rodgers, right? We saw what happened last year. Those guys are great football players, but neither one of them was upper echelon worthy of the top 12 without that Hall of Fame quarterback. So it's nothing you don't know. You know, so much has to fall in line. You need a lot of luck. You need a lot of skill. But again, for the 100th time, this is just one incredibly deep draft for what is a very, very competitive league. Dingstown took it again last year. All time, you've got teams that have won multiple titles. I showed this to you last week in the draft selection show, and they've gotten it done through the draft. So, with that said, get ready for the draft. Get your cheat sheets ready. Just wanted to get some last-minute scramble talk in there because I know who I'm going to take. I do. I'm ready. As long as he's available. I got number 3, so chances are going to look good, but I'm going to tell you this much. I'm going to rock the boat a little bit. It's going to be fun. This is going to be a very, very fun draft. Again, I think you can go later on and get one of these top-tier players because there's just so much talent. So select wisely, have fun, and good luck tonight in the League the Nutz 2024 draft.